Hey everybody, how you doing? Steven here with Small Family Adventures, and we're starting a new segment. This is Tuesday Thoughts, and we are going to be going through and looking at some people that are in a book. Now, this book I've read since I was a teen or just out of high school, something like that. My wonderful sister, gave me an updated version, and that is the Foxe's Book of Martyrs. Foxe's Book of Martyrs, and this is an updated version that takes us up through people that were martyred up through the 21st century. And so we're gonna dive into this on Tuesdays and look at one person or maybe a set of persons, depending on how much information they give us. Let's get going. Today we're gonna look at some of Jesus's disciples, and we're just gonna keep it simple. And what happened to those who followed Jesus while he was still here and alive? And why is this important to us? People gave it all. People gave it all for Jesus. Why would somebody do that? Why would you do that? Why would I do that? You know, and this is going to help us understand these things. It's one thing to just read his scriptures and try to live right and love on each other, love the people in the world, but to really follow Christ means that there are going to be times in our life where we're going to have to say yes to him and no to a certain situation. And the situations that are in here are going to be various. And so today we're going to look at the first Christian martyrs. This comes out of the first chapter. I want to do the introduction that the writer here, John Foxe. Now, by the way, this is a very, very old book. Does this tell me when it first was? John Foxe was born in 1516. So yes, it's a very, very old book. And then again, other people have added to it to make it current. So, but this is how John Foxe opens it up. In Matthew 16:18, it is recorded that Jesus told his disciples, "I will build my church, and the gates of hell shall not prevail against us." And he says we can get three major points from this. Christ will have a church in this world. His church will be mightily attacked. And number three, none of the devil's attacks will destroy it. Remember these things. We've been talking about faith and trusting in God, right, in the last couple Bible devotions. John 6, if you want to look it up. I'm not sure when you're listening to this, when you're watching this video. So if there's no links for it, look for John 6. Christ will have a church in this world. His church will be mightily attacked. None of the devil's attacks will destroy it. And we're going to see here that people died for him. In their death, this church wasn't destroyed? No. In fact, they went on to be with Christ. To die is gain, is what the Apostle Paul says. The church will never be destroyed. So, the first martyrs, Jesus' disciples and followers. How did they go? Well, first of all, he points to Jesus as our example. He was not accepted by the mass, and he wasn't accepted by the religious leaders. They put him on a cross, and if they do that with our leader, how much more are they going to do that with those who follow him, right? Stephen is the first recorded in the Bible in Acts 6-8. He was stoned to death. And remember, the Apostle Paul back then was named Saul, and he approved that Stephen would be stoned at that time. at that moment. James, the son of Zebedee and Salome, he was the older brother of the Apostle John. He was the first of the 12 disciples to be martyred. This was in AD 44 by King Herod Agrippa of Judah. It is suggested that maybe his martyrdom was foretold by Jesus in Mark 10:39. Look that up if you want. In AD 54, it is said that the Apostle Philip was scourged, thrown into prison, and crucified at Hierapolis and Phrygia. Pardon me, these are new names for me. Matthew. There is little known about his later life and the time and manner of his death, but legendary accounts say that he traveled to Ethiopia, where he became associated with Candace. Some writings say he was pinned to the ground and beheaded. James, the smaller, or the less, he was the brother of Jesus and the writer of the Epistle James. He seems to have been the leader of the church at Jerusalem. The exact time and manner of his death is not certain, although it's believed to be about AD 66. According to Josephus, a Jewish historian, the high priest Ananias ordered James' killing by stoning. Okay. Matthias, he's the one who filled the spot of Judas. Nothing is really known about him except that he was stoned at Jerusalem and then beheaded. Andrew, the brother of Peter, was martyred in Edessa by being crucified on an X-shaped cross, which came to be known as St. Andrew's Cross. Mark just disappears from view. Paul had mentioned him in 2 Timothy 4:11. Peter was crucified. He didn't want to be crucified like Christ, so he asked them to crucify him upside down, which they obliged and did. Paul was in prison. He had been in prison for quite a while, was taken to Rome, and that is how he got the gospel there. He was taken in AD 66, execution block, and beheaded just 4 years before Jerusalem fell. Jude, the brother of James, was crucified at Edessa in 72. Bartholomew preached in several countries, then translated the Gospel of Matthew into the language of East Indian and taught in that country. It is said that his pagan enemies cruelly beat and crucified him. Thomas preached the gospel in Persia, Parthia, and India, and Kalamina, India. He was tortured by angry pagans, run through with spears, and thrown into the flames of an oven. Whew. Luke was a Gentile. He's probably Greek. It's not known as to when or how he was converted. He was a physician in Troas and probably converted there by Paul. Well, I'm not going to read the whole thing. Get this book if you want. I'm sure there's many places online that you can get this. After Paul's death, Luke apparently continued to evangelize as he had learned to do with Paul. Exactly when and how he died is unknown. Ancient sources stated he served the Lord without distraction, having neither wife nor children, and at the age of 84 fell asleep in a place unknown, full of the Holy Spirit. In another earlier source, it says that he went to Greece to evangelize, and there he was hung from an olive tree in 93. John, the Apostle John, brother of James, is credited with finding the 7 churches of Revelation. It was from Ephesus that he was arrested and sent to Rome, where was cast into a large vessel filled with boiling oil that did not harm him. As a result, he was released and banished by the Emperor Domitian to the Isle of Patmos, where he wrote the book of Revelation. See, I just learned something new now. I didn't remember that. That he had been put in boiling oil. Wow. Even with all the continual persecutions and violent deaths, the Lord added to the church daily and deeply rooted in the doctrine of the apostles and watered abundantly with the blood of saints. She was prepared for the cruel persecutions that were to come. So, folks, this rounds about the time that we need to finish this up. So, even though they were persecuted, they went out. They preached Christ. They loved on the world as they were taught. They were killed, most of them. Now, here in the West, we haven't had to deal with that, but things are getting tougher now. I don't know how far things are going to go. Either way, it is Christ in me, right? By faith will I walk, and to not give up on him. So, we're going to look next week. We'll look at somebody else. We're not necessarily going to go in order. We're just going to pick people out and as they jump out at me. So this is Stephen, Small Family Adventures Bible Devotions channel, looking at the Foxe's Book of Martyrs. I'll have a link below too down where you can buy it on Amazon. So thank you. Have a good day, and we'll see you soon. Bye.